Hi guys, this is our last Tool Talk Hangout. We're going to be talking about a couple resources and tools that you can use online, and those are going to be the QR codes, paper.li, Web 2.0 tools, Kahoot, and Picklers.
Hi, I'm going to be showing the QR codes. Let me just share my screen. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So to start off, QR Droid Zapper, it's actually a website, and what this is, it gives you the ability to create different QR codes for whatever reason you would want to. QR codes are similar to barcodes, except they just hold a whole bunch of more information, and they're a lot more easier to use than barcodes. Barcodes, there's only a limited amount of information that can be stored on an actual old store barcode, but with QR codes it can hold so much more things. So this website is set up to just show you different features. It has a form on there that has questions and answers, and then there's the QR code generator. And so the QR code generator, you physically can create your own little QR code. And I don't know if you guys know what the QR codes, but they're like the little square looking barcode pieces that you probably have seen all over the internet or all over different apps or papers, and on the back of different, even on the back of different, I think the ketchup bottle has a QR code on the back of their label now, and you can scan it and it brings it up to their website. So what this QR code generator does is it allows you as a user to make your own. So you could make your own QR code for if you wanted someone. Well, we could even use it in this class. If we wanted Dr. Sessoms to be able to access our website, we could put our website address right in here and create the QR code, and he could just scan it and it would bring it right up to our website. And there's also ways you can create QR codes for someone to be able to bring a number up. So or a text message. It can be used in the classroom, definitely, if a teacher wants students to access different, if on a lesson, if you're doing a lesson about different foods, the teacher can put QR codes on each different food group, and then the students can go around scanning the different QR codes on those foods, and it can pull up information that each food would contain. This QR code generator also allows you to do email, to pull up contact information, calendar events. So a teacher could create a QR code for calendar events for reminders for students. They could put it on their website, and a student or the parent of the student can scan the code, and it can tell them a reminder of a field trip or a certain assignment that's due. It can even bring up different reminders for things that need to be brought in to school. There's even a way to do a QR code for location. So a tool that you could use that for is if in the classroom, if you're going on a field trip and the parent needs to get the GPS information to drive there, they can just have the latitude and longitude, input those right there, and then create the QR code. The parent can scan that, and then it's going to pop up the GPS location on a Google Maps, where the parent will now be able to follow the directions on there to get where they need to go. And the QR code generator is actually good to use on a lot of different devices, as long as your device has a camera application on there, which 90% of devices out there now have that option. So as long as you have the camera, you have a scanner on your device that you just scan the code, and it brings up whatever it is that you want that code to bring up. Do you have any questions about that?
Do you have to download an app to be able to search them, or how does that work?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, in order to use the QR codes, you do have to have an app on your phone. I know, like, my Android phone actually had a QR code scanner already built into there. iPhone, I'm not 100% sure of, but if it doesn't have one built in, I'm positive that you can just go to any type of
Oh,
app store and download one. And you can use any type of QR code scanner because all QR codes are the same type, so any scanner is going to be able to scan any QR code.
that's cool.
It's so interesting. It's not something I would ever think about. Like how would you, like, I know you mentioned you can have it on certain, like, maybe foods that kids can get information on, but how really would you use that in your lessons and stuff? Like, what?
I guess it's just more for like an interactive piece. Like, so the example I was saying with like the foods, if the students like had different groups where they would go around from group to group, and you could just have like different interactive activities with the codes, or just like you could set a URL for the code to bring up just information about food groups, and then you could set up another code to bring up like a game that has to do with food. You could set up another QR code that maybe would direct students to go to the nearest grocery store or something like that. So it's not, I guess, just, you're not really talking about the QR codes in a lesson. You're just incorporating them in the lesson to be more hands-on for the students.
Okay.
All right. So for my tool, I was researching this website called paper.li. I'm going to share it with you guys. This was really interesting. I had really never heard of it until I had to look it up for this class. But it's really cool because it's basically like you create your own newspaper. So this is what it looks like when you log on. And it's basically an easy way to find, publish, and share content on the web and social media. It says that they process 144 million sites in 8 languages. Essentially, when I got into looking at it, it basically delivers anything that you want. Like, you'll like pick and choose what you would like to add into it, and it'll deliver to you daily or whenever you schedule for it. If I go over here, like, I will show you. So you get a newsstand, and the one thing that I searched was teacher resources. So if I go there, if you scroll down and there's like ones that are in the headlines, you can specify it for grades. And it'll tell you, who is shared by, just general information. And this is just really helpful because you can find basically articles or things that are going on. And then basically what you do is, if you go back over here, I could search basically anything I wanted. So let's say history. Like, I could just search anything I wanted, and it will take me to different sites or different, I don't want to do users, papers, that's what I want. It's really, I don't know, it's very interesting. It's kind of like, I'm trying to explain it in like a way that's not confusing. It's basically like you choose things that you would want to see, and it's like a daily newspaper for you. And you can also, you can work on things for your own, though. It's like kind of like a blog as well. You can add things, you can favorite things, you can follow people, so it's interactive like a social media site like that. Then they have this currently buzzing over here, so this is things that are, getting a lot of hits, I guess. It was just interesting because you can make it very personable to yourself, and then if you wanted to create a paper, you could do that as well, and that's how you search what you would like want to put in there. I'm trying to think of different things that I could search. Education. And it talks to you about what other people are searching and, the headlines and everything going on like that. I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting in the aspect that it's basically you create your own newspaper by choosing different topics that you would want to focus on, and it'll deliver it to you daily.
That's really neat because I think that we don't use technology enough as far as current events in the schools. From what I've seen, I don't see a whole lot of that, and that could be a huge way, really beneficial way of using the technology. And also the fact that it's in the format of a newspaper is nice because people keep talking about how newspapers are becoming like obsolete. And so it's a good idea to expose, the students to like newspaper type activities.
Yeah, I thought it was cool in that aspect, and the fact that you can kind of customize the content that you get sent to you every day is really awesome. Because whereas like a newspaper that you'd get in the mail, it just kind of shows you everything that's going on around you and in like the country and stuff like that. But you can really just customize it to things that you really want to see. So it's, I don't know, it's very personable.
Is it kid friendly? Like, is it something younger students can use, or is it geared toward more like adults or like maybe high schoolers and stuff?
I feel like it is geared a little bit towards adults more just because of the content that I was looking at, but I feel like at the same time, if you were focusing, if you had like the older grades of elementary school or middle school and high school students, I feel like you could use it in that aspect depending on what you teach your kids. Like if you're, for especially for like social studies and things like that, the topics that are covered in social studies subject, I feel like you could use it a lot for that just because it's like news, you know what I mean? But I definitely feel like it might be harder to incorporate in like the early childhood age grades.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just like news articles that were on there, or was there any like interactive polls or interactive things that students could actually participate in, or is it just articles?
It's for the most part just articles, but there's also like you can create your own pages, and it's kind of like a blog as well, where you can like share and follow people and put things on there that you want to like talk about. But for the most part, it is just kind of like a newspaper, just a lot of content.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I researched a tool called Web 2.0 Tools, and this was basically it's a website that it has a whole bunch of just helpful tools and resources that you can use in your classroom. Can you guys see this?
We see you.
Oh, well, I'm going to try to share the screen here. I think that should do it. Okay, how about now?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So Web 2.0 tools, basically they're websites and resources that you can use that you can integrate in the classroom. It's a very broad term. It's anything that could be helpful for educational uses and learning and stuff like that. So this website puts together tools by topics. So if you go, this is the home page. Yeah, so this is what you see when you go to the home page. And here it says explore 20.14 tools. So I think they update it yearly or something like that. So they have presentation tools, video tools, mobile tools, community tools, and then related tools you don't really categorize because it's really broad. So you can click on one of these little thumbnails, or you can go to learn more, and it'll take you to the same place. And here it gives a really brief introduction of what Web 2.0 tools are. The way they put it, it's about revolutionary new ways of creating, collaborating, editing, and sharing user-generated content online. And it's also about ease of use. So all these tools that they put on here are usually free or has a free aspect to it, and they're usually user-friendly and very easy to learn how to use. So I looked at each one. So I went to presentation tools, and these are tools like Prezi, SlideShare, and PixViewer, different ways to display information and lessons in your classroom that are more interactive or just more fun to look at. And they have the sites right here. You can click it and go to it. And something that was helpful for each category, they have a YouTube video of two people who work for the company who explains a few presentation tools that you can use and the websites to get to them and how to use them and stuff. So that was helpful. They have video tools. So these are tools like animation tools that kids can use to make stories or anything any subject area. And again, they're free. And they're easy to share between students and teachers and bigger communities as well. There's mobile tools. There's a site called polleverywhere.com, and that one was really interesting. It's where like you can create live like polls and surveys. So as a teacher, you can create like a poll, and your students can use their phones and like shoot text like what answer or what they think to your poll, and then it updates like every time somebody submits an answer, and you can see like what people think on like a graph that you can display like right there in your classroom, which was really cool. Community tools. These are tools like Google Docs, considered a community tool because you can create, any type of document and share it with anybody. Wiki spaces, like creating your own like website. Edmodo is a one that students and teachers are using a lot in classrooms today, where they can. It's like a social media for school almost. It's like an easier way to communicate and send things to each other. And then Related Links has some other tools that might not that have broad categories that can do lots of things, like Logster, which is really cool. You make like interactive like page displays, is really cool. So yeah, and they have on the Related Links the video that has what that really explains really well what Web 2.0 tools are and how to use them. Also, this like site is under like Discovery Education, so it has other like information on here like internet safety, and references that you can use to learn more about how to keep students and yourself safe on the internet, media literacy and why it's important, and tech tips. And there's a blog that has that people update like certain topics. So this one's about Instagram and how you can use Instagram in your classroom with your students. So interesting things. Yeah, and if you want to look more into the Discovery Education website, you can go up here and explore that, and it has a whole bunch of more resources for teachers, parents, students, other than the Web 2.0 tools. So yeah, that's the basic idea of this website.
It's very comprehensive.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the ThinkPort website, the one that I had to do the first time, just because there's so much on there that's just like so relevant and useful. It was just like a lot of information, I'm sure, for you to take in and to explain.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize that like it's a site that sends you to other places to do things. So I was like, where's the actual product here? Like, but yeah, that's what it's for. So it's really cool. It's a cool resource to have handy.
It's a good website to use for our Diego entries too. We can find different websites, but that is a really cool tool also, and I like all the different like websites that it has there, because I was thinking about a few of them and I'm like, oh wow, like that one's really interesting. I wish I would have known about that and I could have used it for this assignment. All right. Well, another tool that we're gonna go over is the Kahoot website. Can you see my page?
Yep.
Okay. So if you actually go to Kahoot, it brings you to the live website of where you should be entering a pin in there. But Kahoot is something you can either use as a teacher for students to do interactive polls and multiple choice quizzes and stuff like that, or it can even be used as students creating assessments in their projects. But if you want to create a Kahoot, you have to go to a different website, and you have to go to, it's like get.kahoot.it. And so I had to create a Kahoot for one of my assignments. So this is one that I have already made myself in this website. And the website is fairly okay on explaining how to do things. there's like step-by-step pieces in there that you can do. We can actually, we'll create a new one to show. So you can do a quiz, a discussion, or a survey. So I'll click on a survey, so we'll give it a name. It'll be like school. And so you just type in different questions, so you could do like, what's your favorite subject? And then there's different answers, so you could type in reading, math. And then after that question's done, you can just keep going on and finishing your questions. Once you're done adding however many questions and answers you want, you just hit the save and continue button down there. I started a question, so I'll quickly fill it in. And so like the survey that's presented over here so far is this, and it gives a certain amount of seconds for students or users to reply back in, and there's the amount of choices. If you want to rearrange your questions, then you can just drag and drop by holding down on the item, and of course it's not working. You should be able to just drag and drop, but for some reason it's not letting me. And when you're done, you can just finish filling some information out actually about this survey you created. So like my assessment that I created, for colonial life in here, I ended up doing it for a social studies assessment, and we can actually do this one real quick to show you how it is. So it's, are you ready to join? So you get a special pin for this. So the pin that we have is this right here, and this is the Kahoot I created. So I'm in ghost mode right now, so this is so I'm able to play this quiz that I created. Otherwise, students will pull up this Kahoot website, and then on either a phone, a computer, can be pulled up on a smart TV, anything that has an internet access that you can use this website on. So then you'll start it, and you can add different like backdrops on here just to make it more interactive. So here's my first question, and then the students on their part actually have like, and I wish I could show you. Like on the other part, you have a screen that has just this triangle piece, it has just the circle piece, just the diamond piece, and just the square piece, and it doesn't have the answers. So the user actually needs to be looking at this screen while interacting with the device to answer the questions. So they would click on like the triangle if that's what they thought it was, and then it would send the information over to here for me as a teacher to see the results at the end of it. And you can see the results on your actual account by going to My Kahoots. Oh my gosh. Sorry. So right here is mine, and when you go to the actual web page, it shows you like how many people played, how many players, if people shared it or favored it, it would show you here. And then it can show you the different results as a teacher to see which students got what answers correct and which students might be struggling in certain areas. But that's pretty much this website. You can also browse public Kahoots that other people have created and uploaded to this website. So in the classroom, it could be used as a tool between like recess or during like getting back to the classroom from lunch. Just small little 2-minute, like if you have like 2-minute time frames between activities, you can bring this website up because at least it's a fun interactive learning game that students can play while waiting to go on to the next activity or the next lesson. The only thing that would be hard, though, is in class you have to make sure that students have a device to play these surveys and quizzes with, because if they don't have a tablet or a phone or at a computer, then they can't access the website. But that's pretty much this website. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, I like the way that they format it as a game, because I feel like it makes the kids feel like, oh, I'm not really taking a quiz, I'm playing a game.
Yeah.
You know, so it gives it a little bit of a different feel, which I like that about it.
Yeah, I really liked creating the quiz on there. I really felt like it was generally very easy to do, and it was accessible and just simple. Like, it was very easy put, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, when the way I think of it is, you know, when I'm teaching, I would think I would want to use this as like review games, like at the end of like lessons, or center time, like a fun thing that kids can do, and they're like when they have like free like play time, that's still like they're still learning, even though like it's like something fun that they can do.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, mine was the Plickers website, and I really felt this was helpful, and I actually in my travels have seen this used personally in a classroom that I was in at the beginning of the year. So I actually was there the day that these cards were like passed out and assigned to the students. What it is it's a powerfully simple tool that lets teachers collect real-time formative assessment data without the need for student devices. And I was shocked to find out that it's actually free. What it is each student gets assigned a card, and these cards have little like A, B, C, D for multiple choice options for questions that would be like displayed for them. This isn't coming up. You don't necessarily need to see this up close. These are, in other words, the letters are very small. So what they do is when they're asked these questions, they hold up the cards with that with the letter that goes with what they think the answer is on top. So nobody really knows what answer they're giving because every card is different. So it's, you know, they don't have to be embarrassed if they're getting the wrong answer, and they can't copy off classmates. And then what the teacher does is take a picture of the class as a whole, and basically it'll input this information like this into the teacher's phone, and seeing, you know, who got it right, the percentage of students that got this correct. And it's just really, really interesting. It gives all the students a chance to participate and engage in learning without feeling self-conscious. And, you know, this person down here says, you know, hands down, the greatest discovery for my classroom this year was Plickers. And as you can see, I mean, I noticed when I was in the classroom with the kids using this, I think they got a little bit of a kick out of it. Now, granted, it was the first day. I'm sure they just got used to it over time, but they seemed to really, and this is a middle school class that I was in, they seemed to really enjoy it. So I don't know if you guys have any questions about this. This is something you can download on the App Store or Google Play. And again, the students don't need any devices, and they just use these cards. And the cards can actually be used from class to class multiple times and assigned to different students in different classes, which I thought was pretty cool too.
So the cards, essentially, the kids hold up the cards for the. Do they get multiple cards? Is that how it works?
Well, they get one card. They shouldn't really need multiple cards, though. They would get one card that has, you know, just A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, you know, whichever goes with that particular question. I mean, it's set up only for multiple choice questions.
Okay. I got you. That's why I was confused. I didn't know if they like had to have multiple ones, like one for A, one for B? You know what I mean? I was confused about that.
Right. It's like a puzzle piece, and if it's held this way, they're saying A. If it's held this
Okay,
way,
gotcha.
and everyone's different.
And so they hold them up, and then you like take a picture, and your phone registers.
And the phone registers it
So
automatically.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
like I said, I actually saw a teacher using it, and I was like, what? I was like,
I've never heard of that. That's so like that's
very
insane
cutting edge
technological.
and free.
That's free too. And so do you just have to like set up and get the card sent to you, or how does that work?
Well, I don't know how the actual signing. I mean, obviously, you might have to make a small purchase for the actual cards. I think they're saying maybe the app is free, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know, it's not expensive in any way, for sure.
Cool.
It's really interesting, like, how classrooms are changing today, because, like, I know when I was in middle school, like, phones were banned from the classroom, including the teacher's phone. Like, if a teacher took out their phone in the classroom, like, and the administrative principal saw, that could be grounds for that you should get, you know, in a lot of disciplinary trouble. But nowadays, it's like, I know, like, in my sister's high school, they're now allowing the students to use their phone during school times because, you know, it's kind of realizing that this is where we are today. You can't get away from it. You got to use this stuff from day to day.
And I noticed really, even just in the last like 2 or 3 years, it has really become much more acceptable. They're allowed to use them, I know, like for calculators and different tools like that. I mean, they really shouldn't be like texting and stuff during instruction, but every teacher has different policies with that. I mean, some people have them put them in like Tupperware containers on their way in the door, like they're not allowed to have them. But for the most part, from what I've seen, you know, in the secondary schools, the students have them at hand, you know, most of the time.
I have a question about the one website. How do the students enter their choice of A, B, C, or D for it?
Right, so it's just a matter of the direction of their puzzle piece, and it's they can be reprinted. You can print them yourself, and then you can laminate them. I'm sorry, that's why it's free. You can print them yourself and laminate them. I had forgotten that detail.
They just hold it depending on what their answer is. That's so crazy. Your phone can register that.
Right. It's similar to the barcode, you know, type thing.
It also reminded me of this one website. I don't remember what the website's called, but my instructor, Dr. Andy, she used it a lot in our class last semester, where you would use your phone just like how this website was set up, that the students would, but you would use a phone instead of like a card, which is really nice because not every student has a phone.
Has a phone. Yeah. And one thing I'm a little unclear about, the teacher that I saw using this app. Now, again, like I said, this was the first day, so she may have not been using it like completely correctly. But she was going around taking pictures of the individual cards and assigning, you know, and pulling up the student's name and then taking the picture. But it seems from this website, and again, it's not totally clear, but it looks like there's a couple images where the teacher's taking a picture of the whole class.
Yeah, and it
registers. I think everybody's visible, as long as everybody's card is visible.
Yeah, which again, my God, is so convenient.
I know.
You know, because that was the only thing about it was kind of taking some time because she was like going around and scanning each card, but I don't know that she had to do that or not. It's not super clear about the specifics on that, but it appears as though you can take a picture of the whole class.
That's really cool.
Yeah. That's going to conclude our tool talk for today, and have a great day.